Hey everybody, welcome back to the Daddy Knows Best channel, helping you be a successful, happy man in this crazy wild world. So the Wild West, as you could say. And today, if you haven't heard, Johnny Depp won his case. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. Yes, he has. He has won the case. But this isn't as good as you might. It's a win. It's a success. It puts us a little bit in the right direction, but these feminists and these kinds of people are not going to give up, and they're never going to give up. And let's talk about some of the things they have to say. I was very surprised that, there are some people, even feminists, and some people who have acknowledged the damages that have been done to Johnny Depp, the multiple, the web of lies from Amber Heard, the damages, and all these things. You know all the facts. You know that, if, as Johnny Depp as a man, he would have never won this case unless he actually lost a part of his finger. He actually had physical damage, physical violence, abuse done to him. He would have never won this case. Their bed was desecrated, and all the violence and all the many lies that Amber Heard. Amber Heard was a very bad liar. She lost the case for herself, and she had a very bad legal team, and then she decided to fire her legal team, and then she hired a second legal team that was just as bad, if not worse. So Johnny Depp might have won a little battle, but I don't know if society is going to go in the correct direction. Let's talk about this. If you don't know, Johnny Depp, I believe it was about $8 million. Initially, Johnny Depp was suing for $50 million. Amber Heard tried to countersue for $100 million. In total damages, what was suggested is that Johnny Depp essentially lost $300 million in, losing his castings of his future roles and all of his connections, and, he essentially losing his career going forward. That was the estimated total worth that he would have gained, accrued, or would have, in the future, what he would have gained, through his career. But as you know, that his career has been destroyed, it is unlikely. Who knows if he will ever get his career back. Happy to see that Amber Heard has been completely removed from the new Aquaman 2, which is a win for men. That is a victory. But let's see what some of the things that the Huffington Post has to say. They say they talk about civil rights and try to mix these types of things in here and to confuse people, honestly. And they try to spin laws because it's based on the entertainment industry. And then they try to work verbal abuse to be in the favor of Amber Heard, when Amber Heard was the verbally abusive person in this relationship. And as you know, to children and men, women nag and verbally abuse and make demands upon society. But of course, they can try to twist that around, just like with many of these new modern laws. They're only applied to men, and they're only applied in certain ways. They're never applied against women. So, if you don't know, one of the things I found actually surprising is that right here, Johnny Depp was supposedly given $15 million in total with this court case, but then they brought it back based on state legalities somehow. There's a cap on what people can be awarded, supposedly, which is probably another ridiculous, twist of the law. So Johnny Depp was brought down to $10 million, and how we get to the $8 million is because they were able to, essentially claim that, Amber Heard was, that her image was damaged in the result of some of the things that lawyers had said, that lawyers can't bring up compromising information or information that might be defamatory or possibly an insult in a legal proceeding. So that they were able to take away $2 million that way. So I suppose you can still say this is a win. I hope that y'all know that $8 million is not near enough to compensate Johnny Depp for the loss of his entire career. Disney is not going to give him his job back as Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean. He's never going to get that job back. I highly doubt it, especially in the political climate that Disney is in, being completely taken over by these modern extremist leftist type people. I don't think he's going to ever get his career back. And not to mention all the things that he's lost, you know. This might be a small victory, quote unquote, for men, but Johnny Depp, you know, he still has to pay for all of his legal fees and everything else. He's not in a good position. Of course, people are going to freak out about Amber Heard because, you know, she doesn't have a lot of money. She's actually in debt now. Who knows if they're going to allow her to declare bankruptcy, and so she's not going to have to pay a bunch of this. She's probably seriously considering that, talking to lawyers and people who she deals, you know, who manages her money for her. They're seriously considering bankruptcy, and if it's a legal option, they're probably going to take it. But they're going to continue. But Amber Heard is still going to be put on news. She's probably going to get on the Oprah Winfrey Show. She's going to get on The View. She's going to get on all these leftist talking shows. She might get herself a podcast. She's still going to have opportunities here and there, you know, with little films, and she's going to be interviewed by feminists and all of these things. They don't care about, you know, what's right or what's wrong. Essentially, what they're going to do is continue this charade and act as if Amber was the victim, and is still the victim. It doesn't matter what the law says. They don't care. You know, with this substance abuse thing, they obsessed over that, and they're going to continue to try to bring that up. You know, they tried to tear Johnny Depp apart with his use of substances. You know, is it the best thing for you to use these types of things? Probably not. Did Johnny Depp make some mistakes? Was he the kindest person at times? No. But the abuse that he suffered, and the defamation, and how he was treated by Disney, and, you know, all these companies that outcasted him in this world, this Me Too world, you can simply just be thrown out of society and canceled just because of the hearsay of a woman through a tabloid, gossip, you know, a gossip magazine, where she had legally promised, you know, that they would not speak about each other in any way. That was a part of their agreement, and she broke that legal agreement. So here's that example I was talking about, that she has an estimated, you know, net worth. Some people are saying she has a net worth of up to $4 million. We don't know what kind of assets or other money she might have or not have, but she's made $1 million in Aquaman, $2 million, you know, in the sequel, supposedly. Even though they've cut her out of the film, she probably was still paid for, you know, Aquaman 2. She has a home in Yucca Valley in California, estimated to be about $1 million, and all of her other assets. She also never donated $7 million that she promised to, you know, in the divorce settlement in 2016 between Johnny Depp and, you know, that she'd promised here. Amber Heard had promised the $7 million. And it's more than a promise. It's a legal obligation. So, you know, these people are going to continue to defend Amber Heard. I knew this would probably going to happen, but I didn't know that some of these feminists, like the New York Post here, and the Huffington Post again, who will never see reality. You know, Johnny Depp was extremely abused, extremely wronged in every possible way, and they will never acknowledge that a man was the victim. You know, here, look, this is how they talk. He can attach her assets, which basically means seize them. You know, he's doing this. He's taking from her. He's doing things to her. He can get to her assets to sell the house and just maybe sell her expensive cars and her luxury items and take the cash. She's presented as the victim. He's presented as the pursuer and the person doing damages. You know, these types of people don't care. You know, these people don't care about, you know, justice. So let's look at India Switch. I believe it's India.com. This is a blog piece, and this is by feminists. If you don't know India, I don't know if this is, you know, directly connected to India, but there's a lot of extreme leftist and feminist type people in India now, and they've started taking over, you know, a lot of places and a lot of people, and they try to take over your governments. But these are let's read this. This is the biggest thing I wanted to show y'all, or show all of you in this video here today. They say lessons we need to learn from the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard case. Number one of the lessons we have learned from the events. This is going to be hard to say. I can't even say these things. Learned from events that unfolded following Amber Heard is the trial of sexism and patriarchy. It spread across the world like COVID. Oh, like the coof. But in India, yeah, of course, yeah, it's so bad in India. Your traditional culture who celebrated and protected and valued women. Loves seeing a woman on trial. Yeah, that's just a victim. Yeah, people just wanted to see Amber Heard up there so they could, so she could be, a toy and she could be mocked and insulted. Yeah, that's it. A lot of news organizations like CNN and most of our news hardly ever talked about the Johnny Depp case. It was the biggest thing in the news. It was the biggest thing in the world, but they tried to protect her because it didn't go in their favor. And when the public opinion or the majority of the people, aren't doing what the quote-unquote feminist or the quote-unquote correct people tell you how you should believe and what you should think. Oh, it's patriarchy. It's sexism. It's a problem. But if the majority of people, did believe or support their current next thing, of course they use that to their advantage. You see how this is worded? The woman's always the victim, no matter what, in whatever way. They don't care about, the public. They don't care about public opinion. They don't care about democracy. They don't care about fairness. And they are right in a really abstract way, referring to that the public should not be able to impose its will or threaten or influence a court decision. But we are now having more and more political courts, so public opinion does affect it. And these are the same leftist and modernist type people who actively get themselves involved and actively attempt to pressure courts and impose their will upon courts. And they have even threatened jury members. Death threats. These same people, they can twist things whatever way they want. Of course, they won't be held accountable. Let's continue to the second point. It says, is society breathes and digests patriarchy as good as a cat swallows fish? So, I'm not really sure what they mean by that. They must say that society loves or is patriarchal, so it easily consumes these types of things and it likes it. I don't know what kind of fake world this person lives in, but most of the time people celebrate men, being destroyed. Men shed tears. Men lose everything in divorce courts every day. Every single day. When they did, they bought a $5,000, $10,000 ring. They paid for a $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 wedding. They were perfect gentlemen. They were kind. They were gentle. They were supportive. Many of these men, and they gave and they sacrificed everything for their family. And then the government comes and steals the house, steals the kids, steals the dog, steals personal assets, family heirlooms, and everything, inheritances, and destroys that family, even the family legacy, the family name, everything is destroyed. So I don't know where this person writing this, man or woman, I don't know, I don't care. They act as if society is still patriarchal. In the world, in the Me Too movement, in the Me Too world, in our society where men are almost slaves, this person still thinks that we live in a patriarchal world, that we're still not doing enough. You see why I say that, women do want men to be slaves? Because at what point are they satisfied? At what point, have they got, are things fair or things equal? At what point has feminist accomplished its goals? Of course, they don't tell you, and yet they seek more and more power and more control, and they control your news and your organizations, your companies, your HR departments. They control almost everything. These feminists do. Now, let's continue. They say sexism and patriarchy is a social disease. So it's a disease. I guess we have to get the government involved and lock people down for patriarchy, huh? They say women may never be able to pull down their mask and probably breathe an air of equality. So women have... They've never had any equality. They've never had an ounce of it. They've never had a tiny bit of it. Really. Women have no rights. They don't have equal rights. Men never fought for their rights. Men never gave them better lives. Men have never capitulated. Men have never sacrificed their lives and their labor and their intelligence and everything for women. You know, men being romantic has never existed. You know, you know, all these things throughout history where men, you know, had all this chivalry and expectations and laws and cultural norms that were imposed upon them for the benefit of women. None of that existed. Of course, marriage never benefited women. Marriage has never benefited women. Oh, no, never. Let's continue. Let's continue. Fourth, we, the women, have been, and okay, so she does identify as a woman, and probably will be forced to live in the cuckoo nest. Yeah, we're just all crazy. The Johnny Depp case has done nothing but prove to us that the world is quote-unquote crazy forever unless we start identifying cultural violence against women. So what they're saying here is that Johnny Depp, you know, either he did identify violence against him or it was just fake. So now what we have to do is really do the opposite. You see, you know, cultural violence was identified against Johnny Depp, but we're not doing enough to take control of the narrative where people see the majority of women are the ones who are victims. We're not doing enough to control the news, to control the narrative, to control the public. Do you see how these feminists act? Instead of debating people, they take over your companies, the HR departments, they control your advertisements, what your kids see, they take over your public schools and your colleges, and they have to mold society. They don't care to debate with you for people to decide, you know, what's best for their lives and their families and their culture. Oh, families. Oh, that's another story. They destroy families. Feminism's major goal and purpose is to destroy the family these days. Let's continue with their last point in this of the second part of their fourth point. They say cultural violence against women is defined when certain existing prominent social norms validate direct and structural forms of violence. So they're saying it's a problem because it has to be a social norm for them to identify something, you know, as a crime. They're saying that that doesn't, you know, allow women to act as if there's, you know, with this Amber Heard case, that was one of their big points. That Amber Heard felt that she was quote unquote being misused or abused or annoyed or bothered. And that quote unquote justified her violence. They want to expand the terminology and the legal system where women can, you know, change what is violence. To one woman, if you stare at her or if she feels uncomfortable around you for any reason, you know, she can say that, you know, some kind of crime or some kind of sexism or some kind of patriarchy existed in that moment or something was done against her. And they want to take over the legal system. That's what she's doing here. She's calling for a complete takeover of social norms and our legal system with our government because they aren't able to define or control the narratives or define legally what is violence and what's not violence. Because in this case, again, one of the only reasons Johnny Depp won this case is because he had, you know, a part of his finger was literally chopped off. And he also had, you know, a cigarette pushed in his face, and he has a scar because of it. Johnny Depp probably would not have won this case without actual physical damages and physical crimes you know, and things done against him. He probably would not have won this case. And even with the physical damages and the crimes, and I suppose it's some form of assault that was done to Johnny Depp, he still might, this was still a close call. He still might not have won if the public was not, not in his favor. If the public was in the favor of Amber Heard, these people would like to overrule. Again, these people believe that the majority, and of course they always believe that they are the majority. They believe that the majority are the ones who get to, establish how a legal system works whenever it's convenient for them, or define what is socially normal whenever they feel like they want to change what is socially normal or socially acceptable. But of course, women are never held accountable according to the same laws and the same social norms that would be applied against men. They're never, again, these people constantly scream about equality, and they will never apply, things equally. They're never applied equally to women. So again, in this whole court case, Johnny Depp won $15 million, which is still not enough to help him with all of his damages. It's still not enough. And then the state decided it had to be brought down to 10, and then they claimed that some lawyers had said some things that shouldn't have been said, that influenced the public against Amber Heard, and they were able to reduce it down to 8. This might still be a little bit of a win for Johnny Depp, but again, in regards to legal fees and lawyer fees and all of this, and it's not about the money. Johnny Depp did this to, solve these issues. It was a personal victory, not really a moral victory, but a personal victory to clear his name and to, have some peace, to find justice. And if people think this is about the money, $8 million is not enough to compensate Johnny Depp for his losses. That's not even close, and it's that's not even close. And these feminists don't care about Johnny Depp. They don't care about the wrong thing. They will never, this was a clear-cut case where Amber Heard was clearly the criminal, clearly the perpetrator, and lied on multiple accounts. She, they bring up domestic violence. She was the one who did domestic violence. These are the types of people who try to poison society and hurt society. They say society is not crippled with patriarchy and sexist drama, but is built around the foundations and traditions and cultures that promote prejudices. So their ultimate, solution, these feminists' ultimate desire, is much more than just to control society. It's much more to. They have to do much more than just control language, control narratives, control schools, control the public. They have to remove your traditions, your culture, your identities, your laws. And this is one reason they attack Christianity and the judo, the things that are the Judeo-Christian basic moral principles like honesty and decency and accountability and these types of things as well. With again, I'm not even a Christian, but the basic Ten Commandments. They act like they have to remove all these things from history. This is why they destroy statues, why they burn books, why they control your public libraries. Because they believe that they have the responsibility to destroy your own culture and to destroy your traditions. I hope that you understand that these people are very clear, and this is a point that I have brought up, but people act as if I am crazy, and here is a feminist telling it to you point blank that they have every intention to remove, twist, manipulate, and outright destroy your culture and your traditions and your religions. And this is all a part of, social justice, and essentially Marxism. I hope that you understand these types of people. Again, these people are going to say now this is a disease. And they have every desire to call it a disease because they know how much power that they gained with the coof. With this cough that went around. They know how much power they gained and how much influence they had over your lives and how the impact and the consequences and the change that they have done to society through that. If they're able to identify testosterone or masculinity or certain things and say that it's for the public good that you take an injection that reduces your testosterone, or we have to force men's bodies to become smaller and weaker and reduce your bone structures and reduce the size of your brain and the size of your third leg or sausage. These are the types of extreme that these people want to do. These people act like they have no peace and that they have no freedom. And these are my final thoughts. These feminists and these types of people act as if they don't have a life, that they don't have any freedom, and that they are constantly being held down. But they live in a world where what they call patriarchy, the traditional cultures that they have came from, worshipped at the feet of women, handed and built everything for them, defended them, loved them, provided for them, sacrificed for them. And now in the modern era, we have not only did they not lose those kinds of benefits, all of those benefits from the previous culture and the traditions and that society, they now have the benefits of the government with scholarships, with money thrown at them, women's health care centers, and everything else imaginable. They are supported. They are given preferential treatment to get jobs. They are not held accountable when they commit crimes and when they do, bad deeds. These feminists will still continue to, and will continue to still go on and act as if Johnny Depp is the perpetrator here, that he is the bad person. That they will still continue to fight this, continue to defame and try to get rid of Johnny Depp socially and culturally. Even if they lost this legal battle, they won't give up. They're not going to give up on that. Because to them, anybody who is just simply accused, you have to believe all women. No matter how wrong that woman was, no matter what these women did wrong. And they talk about controlling society and changing social norms because they know that their narrative of the Me Too movement has, at least for now, been shattered. Of course, they'll find another story. They'll find another sob story. They'll find another pretty little liar to say somebody did something wrong to her, and they'll put it on national news. All the while that hundreds or thousands of men are, violated, four-letter word, literally, by divorce courts and family courts, where everything is stolen from them by women. Oh, they'll find another little darling who gets to accuse another man, for her own personal gain or her ego. Amber Heard really thought, just like Brienne Larson and these types of women, they really think that they were going to, launch themselves to bigger career heights. Bigger career heights, make more money. They think that they improve their status. They think that, they would put themselves in the eyes or make themselves even more desirable to affluent men because they do these things. I don't know. Maybe some of these affluential, wealthy men, maybe they like, to be stepped on and abused by feminist women. But men, I always give you some final thoughts on what you can do. I like to do much more than just tell you some information. I like to do a lot more than just tell you something, some food for thought. Start speaking out. This was a victory for Johnny Depp. It wasn't the biggest victory. It could have been better for Johnny. But at least Johnny Depp got some closure. At least he can heal. At least now he can have some peace. And I hope that you'll talk about this with your friends and family. This is an example, a clear example, of where a man was abused. And again, a lot of people tell men to be more emotional, open up with your feelings, speak your truth. How about you speak out and tell them how you really feel? When your feminist friends start talking about women victim this and women victim that, why don't you bring up Johnny Depp? And if they just walk away, or if they just get angry, or if they just tell you that was, that's just one case, it's usually women, tell them that they're wrong. Open up the discussion. You men at colleges allow these women to control, what's being taught there. You might get yourself out of college, but you allow these teachers and these people to control the narratives and what's being taught at your colleges. Again, I tell you to get your kids out of public schools, but if you have to, or if you're just plain lazy and put your kids in public schools, at least teach them, real lessons and real stories like this case. Again, this was one of the biggest cases and one of the most important legal things that's happened ever in our country or in society. This Me Too movement has been proven to be nothing more than a sham and a lie. It's very clear. It's been a sham the whole entire time. And of course, we care about women, but when you actually care about women, when you actually want to stop, quote-unquote refugees and people who are actually doing crimes and violence and things against women, they all of a sudden are silent. They don't care about that. If you try to support traditional families where women get married younger and have children, then that actually makes them happy. These feminists try to fight you. You see, these women don't actually care about what actually makes women happy, and they most certainly don't care about what makes men happy. Have you ever heard of a feminist who actually talks about what makes a man happy, or what should make a man happy, or what are women's responsibilities towards society or men? What are their obligations? I have never seen a woman talk about her obligations and responsibilities, and maybe some of the mistakes are where women do fall short. Unless they, try to twist it and make that weakness seem like a strength. Like, a woman doesn't do something good enough because she's restricted or limited, or something's done against her, or she's the victim in one way or another. I've never seen them actually admit to any faults or weaknesses or wrongdoing. Because these people are on, a mission, a crusade, however you want to word it. They're on the warpath for power. And it's because the government, these powerful elitist type people know that they have a really nice game set up, because women might get some advantages, as far as, the importance. Men are on the bottom, men are pushed down, and then women are on top of men, and are seen as, men are seen as second-class citizens, and women do get benefits on top of men. But then who's on top of the woman? It's these governments, it's these associations, it's the UN, it's the WHO, it's these global bankers, it's the people at the World Economic Summit who are trying to influence and deciding, how you will live, how you will think, how your governments will operate, your lifestyle, how much, how much carbon credits that you can produce, how many children you can have, where you can live, what you can say, you know, how little privacy that you are allowed to have. That's what's going on here. Hope you understand this issue. Hope that you'll talk about this with your friends and your family, and even get on places like Twitter. You know, you might be kicked out. Who cares? At least you tried, and you have some fun. I hope that you have, some of you men who feel like you've been beaten up and that you've been pushed down, and I've felt that way before, just like Johnny Depp. Hope that you know that there is hope for you. This isn't an inspirational story. It's not perfect. Johnny Depp made a victory. It wasn't a perfect victory, but at least, there is some hope, and things can change for the better. Again, I feel like too many MGTOW have just, given up and separated themselves. Again, it's great to have peace. It's great to tell men to avoid marriage, or, and teach men not to get married with our current laws with MGTOW. It's great to teach men to find peace and purpose and identity outside of marriage, and and that you don't have to have a woman in your life and all this type of stuff to be happy. But on the other hand, MGTOW is also encouraging men to be silent, or to step away, or not try to be an influence or have power or do much of anything in regards to society. Men can still win this. Men can still fix things. Men can still, have success. You're going to have to change your government, though. You're going to have to start becoming lawyers and senators and good people. You're going to have to start getting into public office and becoming judges and mayors and governors and senators in these types of positions, and actually start fighting for, what's decent and what's fair, and supporting your laws and your customs and these types of things, because these women, they're not going to accept this. This woman, again, directly on this website, said that she's coming for your culture, your traditions, your religions, and she's coming for your government. And they've been doing these things for a long time, but they're going to do it more. These types of people don't accept that they lost. They don't accept that they lost. Next time when that type of thing happens, they want to change the law or change the culture, so they can make it, make whatever kind of decision, happen that they want. Get the result that they want. They don't care about the legal, what's fair, what's not, checks and balances, fairness, legal proceedings, where we establish truth or establish facts or reason or plausibilities and things like this. They truly don't care about those types of things, and they don't care about you, frankly. They frankly don't care about your government, and they frankly don't care about your economies. They don't care about your traditions. So, my friends, please speak up about this. And if you are going to date, if you are going to mess with anybody, start saying no. Start saying no to the people and the things that don't serve you. If you, a lot of you men, again, would be happy to date just about anybody. But how about you go out there, and then if you find somebody who does like you back, how about you start vetting people? And if they don't give you decent answers, if they don't support decent principles or freedom or justice or anything, just tell them no. It's not even worth dating them, even for a fling. Even for a short-term experience. Because if she figures out that if you're, a libertarian, or, they'd freak out if you were, freedom-minded, and you're just evil if you were a conservative or are a conservative. These women are looking for ways to exclude you and to reject you. Why don't you start doing some of the rejecting? These are the types of things that, change social norms. If women start getting told no by wealthy, affluential, or just men that they even thought were beneath them, You know, you're the backup plan. You're plan B, plan C, plan D. You're the fallback plan. You're the fall guy. You know. And what if you actually reject her? That's the kind of stuff that needs to be happening. You need to start rejecting women. I hope that Johnny Depp doesn't fall. You know, a lot of these guys, they look for a new woman to comfort them, and they fall into the same trap. I don't think Johnny Depp is that dumb or that emotionally weak, but a lot of men do. Like right after divorce and things like this, they go out there and they find another woman. Who knows? Maybe Johnny Depp will become the new Danny DeVito, and these types of people. Who, you know, only date women who are 25 years or younger. Anyways, my friends, I'll wrap this up here. Become a man. Be aware. Please speak out, and please help other men, like-minded men. You know, help them. Give them some advice. Give them some wisdom. And I'll see you in the next video, my friends. Have a beautiful day. Stay well. Stay safe. And have a beautiful day. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let me know if this was a good video or not. I'll see you soon in the next one. Peace out, and bye.